All right, so first of all, thank you for being here. I'm glad. I hope this is going to definitely be worth your while. What we're going to do today is, one, you might notice I'm wearing a microphone. I'm hoping that I can get this recording so that we can put it on a podcast. You can go back and listen to this again. Maybe the people who aren't here, let's do it. So if you ask me questions or comments, I'm probably going to repeat those. Not that I'm losing my mind. I just want the microphone to pick it up. Is that fair? The second thing is, we're going to spend about a half of an hour talking about your disc profile and you. What works best for you. And then the second thing we're going to do is spend the last half of an hour talking about how this affects how you talk to other people, how you relate to other people. And one of the reasons I like teaching this class is I'm talking to me. For those of you that know me, you know why that is. For those of you that don't know me, I'm what's called a very high E, and that is a problem for everybody around me. Okay, so we will talk about that. So I'm going to play this video to just kind of give you some things. Hey Pat, would you do me a favor and take one and just, I want everybody in the room to get one of these, and we'll start from the other direction. So get one of each sheet as we're watching this video.
Okay, so we've established that everyone is different, right? But here's the cool thing. They are predictably different. We all are. And because of that, we can actually predict how people will act or react in a given situation. Our world is made up of 4 types of people. There's dominant, or the D style, influencing, which is the I style, steady, or the S style, and compliant, the C style. Generally speaking, those are the personality types of the people you interact with every day. And I'll let you in on a little secret. You're one of them. Let's take a look. We've all been waiting on an elevator and seen the girl who presses the button, steps back and looks at the button again, then presses it again, and again and again. Yeah, that's a D style. She has places to go and people to see. She's probably always in a hurry, so then she'll tap and hold the button, frustrated, thinking she can actually make it move faster. D styles are dominant, direct, and results-driven people who want to control their environment and then do something to make a difference in their world. Now, let's take a look at the I style. She is Talky Talkerton. Once the doors open to the elevator, she's the one who turns around and starts talking to nobody in particular, about pretty much anything. She's an influencer. When the elevator stops, she's the jokester who quips, "Third floor, lingerie, enjoy your day." Now, not all I styles are cheesy people who tell mom jokes all the time, but you see what I mean. I draw energy from people and love to engage. Now, here comes little Miss C style. She's the quiet one. She's kind of off to the side, standing in the front of the elevator, looking at the plaque that reads, "Maximum weight, 2,500 pounds." She's calculating money. When that person gets on, you're gonna go down. She's on a schedule, but she's allowed herself plenty of time. She's compliant, she knows the rules, obeys the rules, and wants everyone else to do the same. Look at her, how cute. Enter the S personality. She's stable, steady, and keenly aware of her surroundings. She wants everyone to be happy, and she thinks it's her job to make it so. She's the one holding the elevator door open to make sure everyone who wants to get on can do so at their leisure. Meanwhile, Miss D's in the back huffing and puffing about needing to get to her meeting. The S will even take the stairs if there's not enough room for Miss I, who keeps everyone waiting while she finishes her mocha latte frappuccino thing. Harmony and steadiness are a big deal to the S. As a leader, it's important to know these disc styles so you can begin to better understand the people around you. It's also important to understand that we are all a blend of these styles. Sure, we can adapt those blends based on our environment or when a specific situation calls for one style over the other. But more often than not, we've all got to accept our DISC and learn to live, work, and play and accept these basic traits. So there you have it. We're all different, but we are predictably different.
All right, so if you want to have some fun on that, what you can do is start Googling disc on your YouTube station or whatever station you want to go to, okay? Does that sound fair? So what are your ahas from that video right from the very beginning? Any thoughts?
Those are the extremes.
Those are the extremes. They are definitely the extremes. And did you hear that part at the end where she said we're all a blend of all of these things? How many, raise your hand if you've ever taken your disc profile and gotten it and sat down and read it. Okay, so about maybe a third to half of the room. And what I would encourage is everybody to not only take the disc, but to read through every page of it and begin to learn and ask questions. Because first of all, this is not about your personality. It's not about your personality. This is about your behavior. Your behavior is far more, your personality is far more complex. Your behavior is this. This is what you do when you're in the public, and then your behavior. How many of us have ever seen in ourselves and other people that they're one person most of the time, but when they're under stress, they're somebody else? Anybody ever notice that? Okay, so our blends can kind of go away, and we can go to the extremes less when we are there. All right. So did everybody get one of those? At least one of those sheets. Did everybody get one? Okay, fantastic. Is there an extra one for me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Which one do you want?
So I can both, please. So let's kind of go through this. On the colored one there, we've got all the different nice colors and pretty colors. You can see that you've got the D, the I, the S, and the C. And what's really fun is to start, when you take your disc profile, is to start looking at the traits that are in your life that the disc profile comes up with. And if you really want to have fun, take that disc profile home to your spouses or kids and ask them their opinions on the subject, and you will actually hear laughter and groans as they go through the process. I think after we took our KPA one time, or disc, I walked by the office where Trish is, you know, that little like closet office she's got there, and her and Debbie and Heather were reading mine, and I heard giggles and laughing coming out of there, if I'm not mistaken. It was a couple of years ago, not long ago. Sorry?
Then it might have happened.
It might have happened? Okay, so that's okay. So use this as an idea, okay? And so now we're going to go to just the black and white paper there. And this is, so up there on the D, I want you to write 3%. 3%. And what that is 3% of our population is a high D behavior. 3%. Under proactive, I want you to write 11%. Under the I, 11%. 11% of our population is naturally I, the influencer, the happy people, the lady that just talks to herself on an elevator. My wife is a very high I. Okay, just a marriage thing here. One of my favorite things in life is my wife will just all of a sudden break into conversation, not realizing that most of the conversation's been in her head, and I'm supposed to know all of the background of what she's been talking about for 10 minutes. Has that happened to anybody else before? All right. Sorry, Marie, if you hear this. Okay? The S population is 66% of our population. S. 66% of the population. So how much is the C population?
20%. Yeah,
20%? It's somewhere between 17 and 20%. I was hoping somebody would just spout up the answers. I was going to say that means it's 17%, right? So you have some C in you. It is 17%. Okay. What is C? C is compliant. It's also pretty exacting. Like other people are saying 20, and you've got to say, oh, no, 17. And that's okay. It's okay.
It doesn't add up.
That doesn't add up.
Okay, so 3 plus 11 is 14.
Right, that equals 80.
Plus 66
is 80.
80, okay, so 20, I apologize. So I got, it's 69%. 69% is yes, I apologize.
Oh.
69%, sorry about that.
Well, now you just messed up my paper.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We've got white papers over here. By the way, that is a C. The C is very concerned about that.
Okay, so S.
So my high D didn't care. They were supposed to know. So you were 20% right. So anyway, no, 17 is right. The S should be 69%. That is your instructor's problem, which I have lots of problems. So one of the ahas in that, by the way, is I don't know the exact numbers, But if you want to go up and down that board right there of all the people that cap and then go even further into the people that do the highest volume, I have no mathematical proof of this, but I'm going to tell you, whereas Ds are 3% and Is are 11% of the population, I'm going to say in real estate, that's 14%, right? I'm going to say in real estate, it's closer to 60%. This business attracts high Ds and Is. Now listen carefully to what I just said. I did not say that you have to be one of those to be a successful real estate agent. I'm just saying that it attracts high Ds and Is. Now why is that? I want to see some feedback from you guys.
Because you have,
Using this sheet, sorry Sharon, you were going to say something? Or Susanna?
I was gonna say, because you have so much control over your business and your time and the people you're interacting with.
Okay, because you have control and the people you're interacting with, all right? So the control word goes to which of these?
D.
A high D. And the interacting goes with what? The I, okay? And yet we have also examples up there on those that capital board of very high S's who do between 8 and 9 to $10 million in volume a year in real estate sales. And they're perfectly happy with a $270,000 to $300,000 income, and they do it through what? Relationships. It's everything relationship based. And I'm talking about like the Scott Hilligases of the world. I mean, he might have sold you a house 4 years ago, and if he sees on Facebook that your basement has flooded last night because of all the rains, do you know who's there at 8 o'clock in the morning? Scott Hilligas. Because he's a service heart and he knows that that relationship is what's important to him, and that's why he succeeds. So as you can see, there's all sorts of different kinds of personalities in real estate. Can anybody name a high C example of a successful realtor? In our office, maybe? Susie Townley?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a high producing agent, that's C. There's a guy in Houston, his name is Lance Loken. Lance has a team of agents. He's built a team of about 97 people on his team over the last 8 years. And his 98-person team does almost the exact same volume as this office with 300 agents. Last year he closed 2,080 deals and did just shy of 500 million or 500 billion in volume. That's not bad. So a C personality can do it too. There's no single personality that cannot do this business. So this isn't about discovering whether you can or can't. It's just what's your behavior, and then how do you capitalize on that behavior. So let's look at this sheet right here. And what I want to show you guys is the DISC. The D's have self-awareness. They're proactive. Okay, the C's and the S's tend to be more passive. It's not a right or wrong, it's just a behavior, right? So let's think of this in terms of lead generation. Okay, 'cause that's why we're all here. In terms of lead generation, what would be a go get the business type of lead generation?
Door knocking.
Door knocking would very much be. So you could write right up there, door knocking. Now, would that be more of a D or an I thing? I think it'd be more of an I. Why would it be an I?
You gotta think quick, just noticing things, building a relationship right at the door.
Yeah, you gotta think quick. Because a C or an S door knocking might be kind of like, please nobody answer. Right? I mean, I came out here because my instructor told me I had to come out here, but I don't want to talk to anybody. All right? That's the difference. But the I is like, hi, I'm your neighborhood realtor, and I'm here to talk to you all about the open house I'm having. Okay? Now, do you know where the stories of door knocking come from? Because that poor I just knocked on my door when I'm in the middle of watching Star Trek. Okay? I'm a high D, and I'm like, I don't care, and then shut the door. Do I mean anything by it?
Nope.
No, it's just I'm already doing something. Do you see how this all gets kind of, and yet as new realtors sometimes, or even experienced realtors, we walk away from that interaction going, oh, I hate door knocking. You can't believe what happened to me. The D forgot about it a second and a half after shutting the door. The S thinks about it for months afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's also kind of silly, isn't it? Once we start accepting that different people behave differently, we can begin to figure out where our strengths are and go there. Okay, so what about farming? So farming in real estate is basically touching a neighborhood or a sphere of influence at least 12 times a year through handwritten cards or postcards or maybe personalized emails until you get enough of a connection with them that you can put them up on a higher frequency contact. So what would a farm be? Would that be go get the business, or would that be a clients come to them sort of a business?
Clients come to them.
Clients come to them, and why would that be, Zach?
Because you're spending the time trying to get their attention for them to come to you when they're ready to move on. You're not actively engaging them.
Right. You're reaching out to them, but in a very non-aggressive way.
When you're ready, come see me.
It's okay if they call me, it's not okay, or it's okay if they don't call me, I'll just talk to you if you do call me. Kind of follow that? Does that make sense?
It's also kind of a C, don't you think? If you throw out and you're like, if 100 people get my card, 1% will call me back.
Right. So a C activity because they know that the percentages will work for them. And by the way, who is going to be the most successful farmer? A C. Because a C is going to sit down, and as they're mailing out that first one, they're already going to have on their calendar what they're doing in April, May, June, July, August, because they've already planned it out, they've already put it on Google Calendar. While the D walks in and he buys 10,000 cards, sends them out once, and then complains 3 days later they didn't get any business from it, and he doesn't do it again. Right?
You're smiling like you've done that.
Yes, yes, of course I've done it.
True.
And other people are laughing because they've done it too. All right? Here's what's really funny, is you're a mix of all of these things. And we're all a complexity of these things. And by the way, we can change from 1 minute to the next. Let me give you an example. I don't know if any of you are churchgoers, but have you ever been in church and you're sitting next to somebody and they're very gregarious in there, and they talk to you and they shake your hand, and they talk about the small group they're going to visit you in next week, and how are your grandchildren doing? These are all very high I activities, right? Okay? And then they go outside, they remember that you're having trouble in your marriage, so they take the time to ask you about it, and they come over here and oh, I remember you're having a grandkid. That's a very relationship, a steady sort of a person, right? And then you encounter them again on the exit of the parking lot to the church, and you had to dive out of the way because they're doing 95 miles an hour, and they were not going to let you get in front of them. So they went from IS to a high D in a matter of moments. Think about that in your parenting real fast. Think about that in your lead generation real fast. Think about that in the interactions and everything you're doing in life. One of the coolest things about learning this and studying this is that you will begin to maybe have just a little bit more insight into patience. And when you look at people, like when I see Michael back there, I don't know if you realize it, but we went on a drive to Waldo one day to see a house together, right? Yep. And I already pretty much had a disc profile. It's just one of the things, once you learn this, I can't walk down a hallway without going, you know, how do I relate to these people? And then we had an interaction with, I don't know, somebody walking down the street who asked about the home. And I sat there and I talked to him for a few minutes about the home, and then I got in the car and drove up. Michael, you asked me what?
I do not even remember. It's been so long.
You don't remember? Michael says, do you always talk to people you don't know like that? Because it's a little bit of a different situation. So what is that? So that behavior is not right or wrong. It's just a different way of seeing the world. It's a different behavior mechanism. Now, if I'm looking for a stable relationship over years and a friend I can really count on, that's what I'm looking for. Follow me? So it's kind of fun. Any thoughts so far? All right. What other lead generation sources should we map on here? How about instructors always saying calls? You know, how many calls are you going to do? Is calls more likely to be done on the top half or the bottom half? Top half? Okay. Here's what I want you to write too on this. On the top half, I want you to write low cost. Low cost. And And on the bottom